You know, who could. I think we were on the same deployment, bro, because I was on USS Ogden in 2006. We deployed, and we're usually an ARD. We're usually an amphibious
Yep.
readiness group or ESG. Do you remember if that was the deployment when were you on Boxer when the KAOT oil terminal blew up?
No, I actually was on Boxer after that because 3 months of my tour on Boxer, I actually worked on KAAOT. I was on the barge tied up next to the oil terminal after it had blown up. So I was the next cycle after that.
Okay.
But I worked on that oil platform for 3 months.
So we were there doing meals on keels when it blew up. I rescued assistance to that oil fire. They literally, so one night I get woke up, DC1, wake up. What's going on? And they need you to go to DC Central. Go to DC Central. My chief is down there. And I'm like, what's going on? He's like, it's stupid. Don't ask. And I'm like, what? They threw us on a rib. They take us over to these oil terminals. First time I ever meet a Navy 06. He's over there. Right? I'm a DC1, bro. I've never eaten. My captain's in 05. I've never been I don't remember ever meeting in 06. And this guy's, I remember his name's like Bravo Echo or Echo Bravo or some crap. Like, that's your name? What the hell?
Right.
Right? And he's like, these are oil terminals, but there's nothing installed to prevent fires. What do you guys think we should do about that? And I'm like, what? A couple of TC. Yeah. And so I'm all excited. I'm like drawing up all these plans and we put on pumps, we pump up water. My chief is like, it's never going to happen, dude. Don't even worry about it. I'm like, well, whatever. And then like 3 weeks later, it blows the hell up.
Oh, yeah.
And I was like, well, what are we going to do? We talked about this before, there you go. So, and I think what were you doing on that barge next to it? What were you doing there? Living on the barge?
Yeah. So I lived on the barge because they needed someone to do the weather forecast for the ships. A lot of times it was like the Coast Guard cutters. Yeah. They were doing sector security around the oil platforms. So I was providing weather forecasts that's crazy. So on the oil platform, there was like 30 people. One of them happened to be a 3-star general. So I was briefing the 3-star every morning about weather forecasts for the ribs and the boats around the boat ops around those oil platforms.
That's how high level those oil platforms were, though, right? And that was the primary source of money for the Iraqi government at that time.
Yep.
And we had American embarked security teams, right? I remember watching them helo off the oil platform because there were people jumping off that joker when it was blowing, bro. They were jumping.
Yes.
It was crazy. And we were fishing them out of the water. It was nuts. And I just remember seeing the helo extracting them and just thinking to myself, like, what in the world that's a major place of income revenue for Iraq. And then it had like all the holes in the terminals where like Iran and Iraq had been at war.
It was rough.
And dudes are walking around barefoot, smoking cigarettes. And I'm like, y'all know there's no firefighting gear. We gave them a bunch of portable like PKP extinguishers and stuff. Here you guys go.
Nothing surprised me. I remember we had an Iraqi small boat come alongside and we were like, okay, let's get them. Cause at that point, with a small crew like that, everybody's bosun's made, everybody's in everything. So I was doing lines, like, helping get them tied up alongside. They weren't even tied up yet. And they started jumping off their small boat onto the platform. They're dropping gear in the water. I was like, oh my gosh, this is chaos. Like, I remember people just popping stuff. It was nuts. It was crazy.
It was an interesting time to be in the Navy for sure, right? I remember training the Iraqi Navy, and it's like they were more worried about playing soccer. Like they wanted to play soccer, and we were out there trying to teach them how to do like firefighting and stuff.